It is the earthquaking, pillars shaking, podcast listening, leader of the Meat Pop Express, Big Trouble Ben Bishop. And get ready, folks, because you are tuned in to the fastest growing professional wrestling podcast in the world, the 3 Count Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Chaz Evans, and you are listening to the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering the Ring. Let's go down the roster list. Now introducing first, he's my tag team partner, one of my all-time best friends. He's the guy that runs the show because I'm just the figurehead. He is Cliff Red Dog Miller.
All right, new catchphrase. That's it. That's my catchphrase.
And introducing now, he is the 48-time world bare knuckle, pants on the ground, looking like a fool with your pants on the ground. He's got a one-trip ticket to paradise, national U.S. world heavyweight champion, Chris Idol.
Always happy to be here, and I'm back from assignment. I'm back in the studio now. Not out in the field anymore.
And last but not least, he's only on the show because he's my little brother and he watches a lot of Wrestle Talk and I can't even talk now. What Culture Wrestling on YouTube. We call him Napster. Ladies and gentlemen, it's JJ.
Hello. I'd like to thank the sidewalks for keeping me off the street. It's dangerous out here. Make sure you guys wash your hands.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now entering the ring, and we have ourselves a very, very special guest here on the 3 Count. Ladies and gentlemen, we got James Ellsworth in the hot seat. What's going on, man?
What's up, guys? I think we're going to have to work on Cliff's catchphrase because he doesn't have much one. Something cool, like any man with 2 hands is a fighting chance, or, something along those lines that people are going to get into,
Oh, I'm going to get that catchphrase over. Everyone's going to say it.
They're not. We try to help him, but he has his own thing, and he just wants to stick with that new catchphrase in dead silence. I don't know. Maybe you can help me. Somebody's got to help him out because he's not listening to us.
So the dead silence is supposed to be the catchphrase.
Hey, silence is golden.
Dead silence leads to more dead silence. I'll just leave it at
that.
Oh, man. Well, alrighty. James, thank you for being on the show, man. We definitely appreciate it. We all got a couple questions for you. We want to know. Let's get in the head of James Ellsworth. So I got the first question. How did you get started in wrestling?
So, 2002, I graduated. I was 17. I graduated high school, and 4 days later, I took all the money I got from graduating, like all the, congratulations money from the family and friends, and I went to wrestling school, Bonebreakers Wrestling School in Baltimore. Axelrod was one of the head trainers, and I just started 4 days after I graduated high school. I basically walked off the stage and walked into the ring.
Oh, man. And my next question is, so we all know one of the biggest things you did in WWE was you were with Carmella. Mm-hmm. And my question for you is, how did it feel being an integral part of Carmella's big push when she won the Money in the Bank? The first women's, well, technically you're the first winner of the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, but being a part of that, how did all that come about?
It was just one of those fun moments that I think everybody's going to remember because it created so much controversy. And the good thing about creating controversy is whether people like it or don't like it, people are interested in what happens next. And the next thing that we always knew was going to happen was that second Money in the Bank match that we were going to have on SmackDown. And that was the highest rated SmackDown of the year, that second Money in the Bank match. So we did exactly what we wanted to do and needed to do, and we accomplished exactly what we wanted to accomplish with it. So it was great to be a part of that. It was a very fun moment. I remember climbing the ladder there in St. Louis, Missouri, and the people were going nuts. Like when I was climbing the ladder, if you go back and watch it, they were like on their feet going nuts, cheering. And I think they wanted me to grab it and take off with it. Like, as soon as I gave it to Carmella, they started booing. And so I was like, yep, we got him, because that's the heat. The heat is me giving it to Carmella. If I grab it and I run away with it, then it's goofy, it's funny, and the fans will be like, oh boy, who's he going to cash it in on? Whoever's the women's champion at the time, Alexa Bliss, or it becomes goofy. It would have been fun that way as well, but I think we accomplished what we needed to accomplish, and it made Carmella a bigger star, and that was always my purpose of being with her, is to make her a bigger star. And that night was, I think, the nail in the coffin on making her a bigger star.
Yo, that's awesome. So one of the other things that we know too is that you're a giant. You are the man who runs ACW, Adrenaline Championship Wrestling. So, what are some of the biggest challenges of running a promotion that you've run into?
Oh man, there's so many, because it's I run it by myself, with meaning like it's all financially on my shoulders, and I've been very fortunate and blessed to done wrestling on every level now. So it's just, I got to remember sometimes that, I was in WWE, and when you're in WWE, you get a Harvard or Yale education in the wrestling business. So now that I'm back on the indies running shows more often, I got to remember these guys might not, they haven't been as fortunate. So like when they come with me with no question is a bad question or a stupid question, I got to remember that, because sometimes you can be like, how do they not know this? But they haven't had the education you've had. So I always got to remember that. And it's just like, we have a good roster, and I think a lot of it is because wrestling's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a good time. And if people are acting up and are being egomaniacs or whatever, I kind of just don't use them anymore. Nothing against them. When we do shows, I want to have fun, have a good time, because we're having fun, we're having a good time, so is the audience, and that's what you want the most. So that, I would say, is the most challenging part, is just finding that core of guys that is not going to give you a problem, and is not in it for just themselves. They're in it to put on a good show for everybody, all the fans, first and foremost, and everybody else on the show. If everybody has each other's backs and everybody's working hard for each other and not just for themselves, then it's a good team effort, and that really shows to the audience, I think.
So you talked about how you worked in all different aspects of the wrestling business. So I guess the question really should be, what's been your greatest accomplishment inside the ring currently?
Well, I mean, that time I pinned the world champion was pretty cool. I will tell you this, though, I was a part of WrestleMania 33, and that's the biggest accomplishment, because that's a Super Bowl of wrestling. It doesn't get any bigger than that. There's not more eyes on any other show in the world, wrestling show in the world, than WrestleMania. So when I got to be a part of WrestleMania, walk the aisle with Carmella, and then I got to take a bump during the match that they had from Becky Lynch, that was probably the biggest accomplishment of my career, because it doesn't get any bigger than that. That's the biggest stage in wrestling you can be on. So it truly just doesn't get any bigger than that.
Okay. So, James, you've been wrestling for a very long time. You've had probably hundreds and hundreds of matches. So what I want to know is, what's the hardest you've ever been hit during a match?
Oh, man, this is easy. So if you go back and watch my Braun Strowman match, the match that got me the job, when he pulls me by the head and he has me he bends me over and my chest is out and he clubs me in the chest. It looks like I take the most beautiful bump in wrestling history, but that wasn't a bump. That was just me hitting the mat. Because he hit me so hard, and I remember laying there going, how am I still alive? How am I, I was, I always check my fingers and my toes and make sure I'm still moving. I'm like, man, that was it felt like, getting hit by a truck. So that was that's the easy question right there. If you go back and watch that, when he clubs me in the chest, my God, it was so stiff.
We're going to go back and check that one out. So, keeping on the subject of you and your in-ring career. Now, typically on a podcast or an interview, people always ask, what's your favorite match you've ever been in? But I'm going to go the opposite route. What's the worst match you've ever been in your entire career?
Man, that's tough, because I've been in some bad ones. Trying trying to think. Like, there's some that, I'm not too proud of, but I can't, like, but just early on, when you first get into the business, you really, especially at a young age, like I did, I was 17, like I said, you like, especially a 17-year-old kid, like you think you're the man, you know what I mean? I'm a wrestler. I'm in training 5 days a week. There's people quitting left and right. I'm not quitting. I'm the smallest guy here, and I'm not quitting. I'm the man. Then I'd get in there, man, and like have these matches, and your trainers. I had good trainers, and they were like, man, like Axel Rod, he was in ECW. And they'd be like, man, that sucked. That was awful. Then, it brings you down the notch. But I remember, okay, so we were in Dover, Delaware, the Boys and Girls Club, 2004. And I had this match against this guy. I can't even remember his name, but I remember it being so bad. I remember I threw the worst drop kick in the history of wrestling. And I remember when I threw the drop kick and it was so bad, like I hit the mat with my hand. I was so mad. I was only like 19 at the time. Hit the mat. And like I remember watching it back. I'm like, why am I acting like that? But yeah, I mean, we were just running into each other, and like I think I threw him into the ropes, and instead of grabbing the rope, he fell out of the ring. Like everything just went wrong. And most people that get in wrestling have matches like that at the beginning of their career if they're coming up on the indies. And yeah, I can't even watch the first 5 or 6 years of my career because it's just like, you know what I mean? It's just you're in diapers back then. You're shitting yourself. You know what I mean? So probably anything the first 5 or 6 years, I would say. But that particular day in Dover, Delaware, at the Boys and Girls Club against a guy, man, it was bad. So yeah, thanks for reminding me of that, guys. Appreciate
it. Okay, so I guess my turn now. What was your favorite opponent that you've ever faced in your career?
Man, it's a toss-up between AJ Styles and Becky Lynch. Obviously they're both big stars. And John Cena. John Cena is the biggest star I've ever been in the ring with, and he's just so easy and great to work with. But like AJ, man, like a lot of our matches was just a lot of goofiness, him beating me up and doing goofy spots with John Moxley or Dean Ambrose at the time. But like when we would go to commercial, he would just start wrestling me because we're at commercial, nobody's seeing it. And he would shoot me in the ropes and call a spot and give me he has the best drop kick ever. Give me a drop kick and like do so. Anytime I wrestled him, but if Becky Lynch and I on SmackDown from United Kingdom, Manchester, England, like that match was so like just the crowd was so into it, like, and every chant was about me. Like if you go back and watch that, like they're chanting, "Where's your chin?" and like Becky's gonna kill you, like everything, the whole crowd, like every chant was just directed toward me. And I remember being like, man, I'm on live TV. This girl's from she's from over that way. And they're just chanting every chant's about me. Like, which was, I just thought was so cool. So like as a performer, when the crowd's that into your character and that into what you're doing and they're having fun with you, you get very proud of that. And I remember just, I was so proud of that. But here's a funny story. After the match, like if you go back and watch the match, she gives me a go behind it, and I do this like scientific like wrist lock takedown, and the James Ellsworth character wasn't supposed to know how to wrestle too good. Like he's just supposed to be a goofball, like moron. And I remember getting to the back of it, it's like, oh man, that was a great scientific takedown you gave to her. So yeah, thank you. Never do it again. All right. Hey, he would always, man. He's a fun guy. Like a lot of people, the more successful you are, the more crap people talk about you. And he's like the most successful guy in the history of wrestling. So obviously he gets put through the ringer a lot. But he was very good to me and so fun. I question, as anybody does, some of his decisions, but that's he's a billionaire and I'm not. So that's the way
Okay, my final question is, what is the biggest advice that you could give to up and coming wrestlers?
This is the best piece of advice I give anybody starting out is get trained by someone that has traveled the world doing this, made a living doing this, and that's that's what you're supposed to be wanting to do when you get in wrestling is that this is how you want to make a living as wrestling. A lot of guys do it for fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're getting trained by somebody that has done this for a living and made it and been to the top and all, you're in good hands, because obviously if they've made it, that means they had something to offer to the business, or they wouldn't have made it. So, and what by make it, I mean pretty much mean WWE. Like, I know AEW is the second tier company now, but and I do enjoy AEW, but there's people on there like that probably shouldn't be. I won't say who or what or when or what, but like it's very hard, like to be good at wrestling and to be safe at it. And like there's a lot that goes. But first and foremost, you got to be safe, and that's what I tell people. Like, what I mean by that is when you're learning to do stuff, learn to do it in a safe manner, and make sure you're not hurting anyone and yourself. First and foremost, anyone else, like protect your opponent, but then make sure you're falling the right way. Make sure you're, taking something the right way, or you can get seriously injured. But the way you do that is you get trained by somebody that's good and that's done this for a living, and because those are the people that most likely are the best at it.
All righty. Well, James, we got our rapid fire question round with our favorite round on the 3 Count podcast. So we're going to put our imaginary timer on. Ding. It's the imaginary timer.
Where's it at? I don't see it. The other.
Yep. See, it's imaginary. It's imaginary. All right. So imaginary timer's on the clock. All right. Here we go. Favorite movie?
Rocky.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Smash or Americana?
Americana.
Hey.
You're so fun. So fun.
SmackDown or Raw?
SmackDown.
Favorite food?
Pizza.
Favorite town to wrestle in?
Baltimore.
Hey. Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
Crow Sting or Surfer Sting?
Surfer Sting.
All right. John Cena or Hulk Hogan?
John Cena.
All righty then. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just thank you, James, for being on the show. Again, thank you so very much.
Thank you, guys. It was fun.
It was a great pleasure talking to you, getting in the mind of James Ellsworth, and we definitely appreciate it so much.
Yeah, no problem. You guys all from Maryland?
Yes, we are. Yep.
What parts? I'm in Glen Burnie right now. I'm from Baltimore, but
so we're in Middle River. Me and my little brother, we're in Middle River, Essex, Maryland. Chris Idol, he's what is that? Is that Woodlawn, Gwyn Oak? It's all the same.
Gwyn Oak, and next to
Canesville
it.
area.
Yeah.
I went to Southwest Academy Middle School. You know where it's at?
Oh, I know.
Oh,
exactly what it is.
I know where that is too.
Up the street.
I had a teacher there. Her name was Mrs. Phelps, and she was the mother of this guy. I don't know. He won the Olympic gold medal a couple times. Michael Phelps. Real weird. Real big trivia question there. True story. But yeah, man, I had a lot of fun. I like the rapid questions. That's cool.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chaz Evans here with the Red Dog, here with Chris Idol, JJ, and the man James Ellsworth that pinned the champion 3 times in a row. All right, guys, thank you for listening to this episode, and we will catch you guys next time on the 3 Count.
Hey guys, it's the icon Chaz Evans here with the 3 Count. If you like this clip that you just seen, make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms. It's Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook it, Photo Bucket, all that. And talk about it. Talk about what you've seen. Talk about what you heard. And if you like us a lot, how about you go check us out on all your streaming platforms and make sure to listen to 3 Count. Icon out.